Hi, if you own rental property, you probably wondered this or asked this question: how often should I actually get in there and inspect the property? Should I never do it? Should I do it every month? How often should I get in there? Well, let me offer you a couple pieces of guidance around how often a property should be inspected. So I'm Tucker Robbins at White Robbins Property Management, and these are the rules we follow, and it's been very effective for us. And number one, you want to inform the applicant at the time they're applying they're going to be inspecting the property. Now why? Because it's going to scare away the bad ones. Meaning this: let's pretend I'm a bad tenant and I'm going to come in and grow marijuana in the basement, which we don't want. So I'm applying for the property, I'm interested in the property, and suddenly I'm informed at the time I'm applying that, hey, Mr. Applicant, inspections will be done on your property. Oh, they will? Okay. I think I'll go elsewhere to apply then, because I don't want you to find my marijuana grow facility. So simply by being very upfront that we do inspections on our properties regularly, both exterior drive-bys and interior inspections, that's going to scare the bad people away a little bit. So it's a self-screening aspect on the front end, number one. Now, number two, make sure your lease is updated. Make sure your lease allows you and gives you as landlord access on a regular basis when appropriate to get in and inspect the property. Now, how often is appropriate? I'll get to that in just a minute, but the lease needs to address it. The lease needs to give you legal access to the property. If your lease doesn't address it, you need to make sure your lease is updated. Now, number three, at a minimum, you want to be in there one time per year during the lease term. So a new resident moves in, give them 4 months, get in there and do an inspection. Now, you certainly could do more than that. We don't recommend doing more than quarterly. If you go twice in the first 6 months and the property looks great, then there's no real reason to continue to go quarterly, because it can be considered an infringement upon the tenant's right of what's called quiet enjoyment. Tenant has a legal right of quiet enjoyment on the property. We've had landlords, for example, call our office and say, I want an inspection done every month. Well, we're not going to do that. Unless there's a reason that we suspect something, we're not going to go in there every month. Why? Because if I was a tenant, I wouldn't want my landlord coming in every month. That's intrusive. It's too much. So you want to be there a minimum one time per year to inspect. Now, as you're in there, what do you look for? What are the kind of things that you should be looking for? Well, you want to look for these lease violation issues, number one. For example, does the lease say no pets and there's a little doggy dish by the back door? Well, that's not a good sign. Maybe they brought a pet in. Does it look like they've moved more people into the property? But we're not just there to look for lease violation issues. We're also there to look for potential maintenance issues that maybe the tenant didn't report. Is the bathroom really dirty? Is there mildew starting to grow on the tiles in the shower? Well, we'd better address that now. Is there a leak in one of the faucets that should be addressed? Is the toilet running? What are the things from a maintenance standpoint that we want to address? So this isn't just a purpose of getting a tenant in trouble. This is the purpose of maintaining our rental property. So we're looking for lease violations. We're looking for maintenance items, outstanding issues that need to be fixed as we're in the property. The last thing we want to make sure we're doing is documenting that inspection with pictures and then completing a report. So when we go in there, we're taking pictures of every room. We're documenting conditions. Why? To protect the tenants from the damage that they shouldn't be responsible for, to protect the property, and to protect us as landlords. We want to protect everybody. This is simply a good clarity thing to do to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that nothing is being neglected over the short term or long term. Now, if you're doing this on a regular basis, it's going to be good for the tenant, it's going to be good for the property, good for the manager, good for the owner. This is truly one of those everybody wins types of scenarios. Now, if you work with us, if you're a client of White Robbins Property Management, we've got you covered. We're already doing these things for you on the inspection. If you're not one of our clients and you manage on your own, start inspecting your properties, looking for these things. If you got questions, reach out to us. We're happy to share a sample of our report, let you know what these inspection report things look like. White Robin's Property Management. Hope this helps.